1994, Rush Limbaugh took credit, and rightfully so, for using his radio show to help propel the GOP into control of Congress. And in 2020, podcasts could play a big role. If you want a little indication about how they become big money, Joe Rogan just struck a $100 million deal to move his podcast to Spotify. Don't know what that means? Let's talk about it with the podcaster himself, our friend Stephen Kent from Young Voices, live and up late with me on the Final Five. Stephen, good to see you.
Good evening.
I feel like one of the first times we had you on the show, we were talking about the enterprise of podcasts, because you do one called Beltway Banthas. You've done that for a long time. You took some time off. You're doing it again. This, like $100 million that's massive.
Yeah, it's a huge number, and just shy of what Spotify gave to Bill Simmons, the Ringer, earlier this year for $190 million to make their programming exclusive to Spotify. I mean, my message as a podcaster is I will do whatever you want for like a quarter of that. But yeah, I mean, this is the future, right? And the reason we talked just 2 years ago about the change in podcasting norms is because they've been trying for a decade now to figure out how podcasting is going to be profitable. Is it going to be advertising? Is it going to be talent? Or is it going to be exclusivity with the distributors? And it is looking like we might be moving in that direction.
So, and you mentioned the Ringer, a very good friend of mine worked with Bill Simmons, kind of built up where they are, and then he went over to or he's going to work as part of the Spotify enterprise. So they're building up this stuff. I know, I was thrilled. He still had a job through all of that. But just to give people a little color on Joe Rogan, I mean, here's a guy who was an actor. He was on a popular sitcom in the 90s called News Radio, got into UFC, was a commentator for that, started this podcast. You just saw him smoking weed with Elon Musk. We didn't necessarily see the likes of Rush Limbaugh lighting up with Newt Gingrich when they were building up the majority back in 1994. But
yeah, but Joe Rogan is such a dark horse character to be like the guy who leads the charge in the changing of the audio industry. There are slight echoes here when Howard Stern went exclusive with Sirius XM back in 2004 after having a national, widely listened to morning show.
Which people thought, like, why are you doing that?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think he sort of saw the writing on the wall. And it's where we are today with so much branded and exclusive media, whether it be Netflix, Hulu, Disney Plus. Disney Plus is Disney seeing the same thing as well, seeing that they have great products. Why are they sharing it with people? They're going to build their own platform and take it out to see. And Joe Rogan has his own just massive empire that I think he started back in 2009. Just a very shoddy program done with a webcam where he got on and was like, are we live? Is this thing working? Hello, world. And now he's the king of audio, this pothead libertarian. It's kind of remarkable.
And by the way, our friend Brad Palumbo had said fairly recently on social media that, you know, he has this innate ability. I think the exact terminology Brad said was, you know, people under the age of 25 or over the age of 25 don't get the influence that he has had on this market. And look, Stephen, podcasting, you know, so many people have gotten into it. We've gotten into it here at Fox 5. Melanie Owenwick, our colleague, just did this true crime podcast, won an Edward R. Murrow Award. So this is not going away, even though it's not like Sirius XM. This is a free thing.
No, I mean, this is an arms race, baby. And if you're Apple Podcast, who's always been #1 in terms of podcast distribution, I've heard this described as something of a Pearl Harbor moment. And that is pretty accurate. And it's going to demand a response by them to start rostering their own talent who is going to be exclusive to Apple. You're going to see a future where, you know, the Pod Save America guys, the Tim Ferriss Show, Mark Maron, Conan O'Brien are going to be making big announcements and deals of exclusivity where they don't now distribute to every platform and they just have one single place that they call home.
All right, Stephen Kent, good to see you, my friend.
Thanks, Jim.
Final Five back after this.